What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and Multiverse of Madness is less than 2 weeks away now. And for those who have been asking, yes, I am going to the premiere next Monday, a week from today. And of course, it comes out everywhere on the 6th, and I think a lot of people are probably seeing it the 5th or the 4th right before the release day because theaters allow you to do that. But today, we're going to talk about the fact that it's been revealed that Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has added scenes and has taken scenes out based off of the request of Marvel Studios, so the MCU can connect a little bit more. I've been getting a lot of questions about this, so we'll talk about it in this video, and it's actually quite good. If you're thinking about the entirety of the MCU, it is good. Now, of course, this means that there could have been some cameos taken out and some cameos put in the film that weren't originally supposed to be there, or that originally were there and now aren't. But let's talk about what this means, and if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you stay up to date on the latest MCU news. So, Bruce Campbell, who of course has been with Marvel for a pretty long time, most people recall him from the original Spider-Man trilogy, he's confirmed to be in Multiverse of Madness. And it's widely believed that he is actually going to be playing a Doctor Strange variant. Yes, we have seen Doctor Strange variants who look the same, but remember what Loki taught us, some can look the same and some can look completely different and actually have different powers and abilities. So we'll have to see exactly who he's playing, but here is what he recently came out and said not too long ago, last week, about some edits of the movie. He said, the Marvel guys, they make 8 of these movies at the same time, so they're always updating storylines. So, my buddy, Sam Raimi, has had to add scenes that Marvel told him he had to shoot, and he's removed scenes that no longer apply. Now, there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this right now, because a lot of people view movies as movies of the director. And yes, obviously the director is a massive part of the movie and an extremely important person. But remember, it's the studio who is actually producing the movie. It's their film. And when we have Marvel Studios who has a connected universe, sometimes they're going to need certain things to connect, and sometimes it won't matter. A perfect example is Moon Knight that is out on Disney Plus right now. That doesn't connect to the MCU really at all. And the directors and screenwriters have expressed plenty of times by now that that was a really good thing about it, that it doesn't really connect to anything else, it stands alone. So for that instance, Marvel gave them the freedom to kind of do whatever they want. But then you have a movie that's so huge like Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness that's going to affect the MCU in its entirety and the entire multiverse, so its impact is obviously bigger than Moon Knight's. Think about it, this could set up the X-Men, this could introduce the Fantastic Four, this could bring Deadpool into the MCU. This is huge. And I mean, it's called the Multiverse of Madness. Of course, it's going to connect and affect other MCU properties. So yes, as movies evolve, as scripts evolve, and stories evolve, Kevin Feige has ultimate say on whatever happens. And maybe Thor Love and Thunder is going to do something very specific that they kind of need to tweak something in Multiverse of Madness, which just makes sense. Now, sometimes this can kind of interfere with the direction of the film. As many know, Scott Derrickson, who directed the first Doctor Strange film, was also supposed to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness as well. And based off of what we know, he parted ways with Marvel Studios based off of creative differences. We know that he wanted this to be a horror film and was probably pushing the boundaries of PG-13, and heck, he probably wanted it to be rated R. And that's where, from what we know, Kevin Feige kind of said, no, we're not really going to do that. It can have horror type aspects to it, but it's still going to be a Marvel movie and it's still going to be PG-13. And at the same time, he probably told him that some things had to happen in the movie to set up other things that are going to take place in the MCU. And from what we know, the difference between what the studio wanted and what the director wanted led to the fallout. That's not confirmed, but that is what is widely speculated with all of the outlets. But overall, it is really good for the entirety of the MCU. What makes the MCU fantastic is that it does all interconnect. We can have Avengers movies where you have a bunch of different heroes come together in a epic movie. Avengers Endgame was incredible. Spider-Man No Way Home was incredible. Marvel knows what they're doing, so yes, sometimes they say, hey, this movie has to do this, but let's remember, it's Marvel's movie, it's Marvel's universe. And of course, the exciting thing is that may include some pretty big cameos. We know Professor X and the Illuminati is going to be in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, before this was confirmed, rumors had been going around for a pretty long time, which means that this was probably always part of Marvel's plan. So it looks like it was Kevin Feige's call to introduce a lot of these new major characters to the MCU, even if they are variants, they still set up these characters to appear in the future somewhere. And if there was a really big cameo that was going to be so big that the fans would just love it, I doubt Kevin Feige would have them take out that cameo. What was most likely taken out were some scenes that didn't really have anything to do with the continuity of the MCU, which is most likely another good thing because we don't want to be confused. So don't worry about these changes, they are most likely really good, and based off of what we've seen from Sam Raimi, he seems to be very happy with how the movie came out. So who's ready for Multiverse of Madness? Let me know how excited you are in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest news, and for live updates you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.